I'm Damien and this is Enneagram Life. It's August 2024 and today I'm going to be talking about the lines of stress and growth in the Enneagram. So I prefer to call them the lines of internal connection. Have a little image here from Wikipedia, and I might be able to flash that up on the screen as a graphic, but if I can't, I'll just point to it like this. So basically you can see there's the black circle, and then inside the black circle there's a red triangle and this other shape which is green, or these other lines which are green. So the red triangle is 3 red lines, and then there's a series of green lines and the black circle. Now the colors don't really mean anything, they're just here to denote these different lines. And in the Enneagram system, often these lines that are internal to the circle are called lines of disintegration or integration. Sometimes they're called lines of stress and growth, or they're referred to as some kind of positive and negative lines. Yeah, so disintegration, integration basically means positive or negative. Stress and growth is like positive and negative. And so those are the internal lines. And so I like to call these the internal lines of connection. And I like to call the actual circle the external line of connection, as if it was one big line, or the external lines of connection, as if you were saying 7 to 8 is one line, 8 to 9 is a separate line around the circle, 9 to 1 is a separate line. So you can call this the external line of connection, singular, or the external lines of connection. This is the black circle. And then all the lines in between are the internal lines of connection. Though that's the terminology I prefer to use. And I'm not really exactly sure where I got that terminology from. I think I might have just decided to call it that, like myself. I might have just started calling it that. I might have heard someone else call it that. All of this relates to, the terms that people use, what's common in the way people describe the Enneagram. And so I want to give credit where it's due, and I want to reference as many people as I can. And so basically I first decided to make this video based on, I think I read a post on an Enneagram experts page. I think it was his Facebook, and his name is David and his last name is Fauvre. I don't want to try and pronounce that. And so he basically made a post saying that we shouldn't see these, what I'd call now the internal lines of connection, as lines of stress and growth. Now, before he had said that, I was already in my own mind calling them, I don't know exactly what I was calling them. I think I was already calling them the lines of connection, the internal lines of connection. But I do know that before I had read his post, I didn't believe that they were lines of stress and growth. Like, based on my own awareness of the Enneagram, without having heard from any other source. Yeah, I don't think there was any other source. I just came to the conclusion that it's not really appropriate to call these internal lines the lines of stress and growth. Rather, they're simply lines of connection. So, as you can see, every type has 2 lines of internal lines of connection. So for example, this is type 4 and it's connected to type 2 and it's connected to type 1. This is type 1 and it's connected to type 7 and it's connected to type 4. So every Enneagram type has 2 internal lines of connection. And so I believe that these lines of connection are very important, and the relationship that each type has to the two types that it's connected to via the internal lines of connection is a really important relationship. Basically what it means is every type will sometimes behave like the two types that it's connected to via the internal lines of connection, or it will seem to behave like that type, those two other types. So once again, for example, the 1 will sometimes behave like a 7 and it will sometimes behave like a 4 because of these, well, that's what's denoted by these internal lines of connection. And so that's a really important concept, and that pretty much is the whole concept. It's just that sometimes the 1 will behave like a 7 and sometimes it will behave like a 4 because those are what connected internally via, not internally like internally to itself, but just that's what these internal lines of connection, that's displayed in these internal lines of connection. So a lot of Enneagram literature talks about lines of stress and growth, or lines of integration, disintegration, and what they're trying to say is that a particular Enneagram type is connected to these two other types. And sometimes during stress, it will seem like one of these other types that it's connected to, and sometimes during growth, it will seem like one of these other types that it's connected to. Or sometimes during integration, or sometimes during disintegration, it will seem like one of the other type. And so that means that any particular type seems like these other types because of stress or growth, because of disintegration, integration, because of positivity or negativity. And that's just not the case, really, is what it comes down to. And it is an important distinction to make. And I can, in the past, like even my introduction videos to the 9 Enneagram types, in some of those videos, the ones that I currently have on my YouTube channel, on some of those videos, I talk about lines of growth and stress. And even at the time when I recorded them, I didn't believe that. It's been a long time since I didn't believe that, but I decided to put that into the video because I wasn't trying to be present some sort of conflicting concept of basic overview of these types. I thought that was just a generally accepted rule, and I didn't want to go up against that in my overview of these different types. And then later on, like when I saw David Fauve, or Fauvre, when I saw his post after that, I thought to myself, well, if there's other people already talking about this, I really shouldn't be saying something I don't even believe in. And I didn't think it was like that serious. Like those videos that I put up, I still recommend. There's a lot of great information in that. Just when I mention stress and growth, just take that away and just think internal lines are connected. Sometimes this type behaves like that type. Sometimes it behaves like this other type. That's denoted by these internal lines of connection. Yeah. Because these internal lines of connection are really important to understand types. But the Enneagram is awesome without the internal lines of connection. Just that if the Enneagram was simply the 9 types, descriptions of each of the 9 types, it would be an incredibly powerful tool. But understanding how these lines of connection work can really, really help you. And, I did always intend to make a video where I described this, what I'm describing now, even at the time when I was making those videos and I was saying what I didn't think was exactly right. But I saw it as like a training wheels concept, and I thought to myself, okay, well, we'll give them this basic concept because that's what's generally accepted. And then later on, we'll just clean it up. Anyway, so I'm glad that I saw that post from David. And his page, that was his Facebook page, I think I saw. But his wife, Catherine, Fauvie, or whatever, she is also an Enneagram expert. And I think their main page on Facebook is called Enneagram Explorations. Now, I don't actually promote any of their stuff. I'm just saying that I found, he made that post, and I want to give him credit where it's due and just say, okay, well, that's what society, that's what made me be like, well, I better make this video. And he made that post a while ago, so it's been a while since I've got this energy, but now I have, and so I'm making this video. And so here's just a few examples. These are taken from Enneagram Institute. So for example here, you will see, this is from Enneagram Institute, you'll see they have the Enneagram type 1, and they're saying the Enneagram type 1 moves to 7 in growth, and it moves to 4 in stress. So like I've said, the Enneagram 1 is connected to 7, and it is connected to 4. So sometimes the 1 will act like a 7, and sometimes the 1 will act like a 4. But not necessarily because of growth, not necessarily because of stress. Like the 1 might act like a 4 due to growth, even though it says the 1 acts like a 4 during stress. So it's, yeah, there's a better way to conceive of it. And it's not just growth or stress that necessarily will lead a type to seem like one of these two other types that they're internally connected via. Like, it could just be circumstance, conditioning. There's all sorts of reasons out there. It's just really important that sometimes every Enneagram type seems like these two other types. It's just really important to understand that concept. And these are just more examples. So we got the 3, just taken again from the Enneagram Institute there. It said the 3 in growth moved to the 6, and it said the 3 in stress moved to the 9, which isn't exactly true, as I've been explaining. And yeah, so you can find examples for all 9 types like that. So internal lines of internal connection is the term that I like. Maybe I came up with that term, maybe I didn't. I don't even know, to tell you the truth. But I think it's a much better term, and maybe we should come up with a totally different term. I'm all good with that. But the main point is, when you understand it, having a concept of, okay, they always move to this type because of stress, that's wrong. They do move to that type. That's the important thing. In their behavior, they do move to those two other types, but it's not just because of growth or stress. Yeah, and it's not just because of growth. One movement to 1 isn't just because of growth. Movement to one particular type could be because of stress. I think you get the picture there. So, thanks for listening. I'll try and put up some of these examples maybe, and some references. Thank you.